A company which was formed by two Danish engineers way back in 1938, but a company which is almost into everything today, including engineering, manufacturing, construction, projects, technology, and financial services. Right from taking a part in making the Statue of Unity to Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, to the Mumbai International Airport, to the Kakrapur nuclear power plant in Gujarat. Any guesses on which company I'm talking about? Hi guys, Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to my Saturday lecture series. I hope by now you have guessed the name of the company. Yes, it's Larsen Toubro, a company which was established way back in 1938 by two Danish engineers, Mr. Henning Larsen and Mr. Søren Toubro. Today, the company is a very well-known MNC and is headquartered in Mumbai. So in today's video, we are going to talk about background of this company, followed by the financials, a very important thing about the Q2 results update for financial year 20, a very new segment in my video which is about small cases, and if you want to know about small cases, please watch the video till the end. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about my conclusion about this talk. So let's get started. But going back to 1938, during the pre-independence era, these two Danish engineers had started a very small business wherein they used to import certain dairy equipments from Denmark. But due to the World War, the Second World War to be precise, Germany invaded Denmark, and it led to certain restrictions, due to which it became very difficult for these two engineers to import the dairy equipments from Denmark. They had to look for something else as an alternative to survive. So that's why they started a very small workshop. What happened was, in the meantime, during the World War, there was a large number of ships which were being destroyed in the war process. And these two engineers found this as an opportunity. They started this small workshop wherein they would do a lot of repairing and refitting for the ships. For this purpose, in fact, they established a separate company named as Hilda Limited. After a few months, during the Second World War again, what happened was there were many German engineers who were very busy in India in various projects. One of the very important project which was ongoing in India at that time was the soda ash plant which was being installed by Tatas. The German engineers were initially going to help out Tatas in this entire process. But then what happened was, due to this war situation, German engineers were put in internment camps by the Britishers. Now, even I tried to search what is this internment camp. It's more or less like a house arrest, but it's a little bit more severe. Now, because the German engineers were in internment camps, Mr. Larsen and Mr. Toubro saw this as an opportunity, and they pitched in for this project with Tatas. They founded the company known as ECC, Engineering, Construction and Contracts, in 1944. After setting up the plant for Tatas, after establishing this company ECC, they started growing as a company. The company went into multiple areas, and now they were in need of funds. Additional funds to grow the company bigger and to grow the company better. It was in 1946 that L&T was founded, and on 7th February 1946 to be precise, it got incorporated, and then in 1950, L&T became a public limited company. Well, I don't think I should tell you what happened post 1950, rest is history. So let's get started with the financials of the company. Here I am on money control, and I've just typed out money control, L&T basically. So here you can see a tab known as financials. When I go into financials, I can see a lot of data, but here I'm going to profit and loss account. Well, the moment I'm going into profit and loss account, you can see 5 years data available in front of me. The very first thing we should check is the top line growth for any company. Sounds very fancy, but top line growth, I've told in some of my previous videos, is nothing but the growth in sales. So if you check out from March 2015 till March 2019, there has been a very nice growth. So the company started with 57,000 crore rupees in March 15, and now it has moved on its journey till 85,000 crores in March 19. The second thing you have to check always is the bottom line growth. Again, seems pretty fancy, but it's nothing but the final profit of the company. Here you can see again on money control that the profit, which was 5,000 crores roughly 5 years ago, it has been continuously on the rise, slowly and steadily though, and it has gone up to 6,667 crores. After checking out the profit two parameters, we are moving on to the balance sheet. For balance sheet, again, it's very important to check. Number one is the growth in revenues. The moment your revenues are growing on a very strong note, it denotes that the company's profitability and overall growth position is pretty high. So reserves and surplus, if you check, was at 36,000 crores roughly in March 2015, has been continuously increasing slowly and steadily, and it is at 52,000 crores at March 2019 position. One more important point is to be checked is the debt to equity ratio. So debt is basically the loans, the borrowings, and equity is like the own funds of the company. So if you have a very high borrowing and a very low composition of your own funds, it's never good for the company. Ideally, we say that the debt to equity ratio should never cross 2:1. That should be an ideal ratio at the upper end. Well, if it's a lower debt, it's always a welcome move. A debt-free company is also considered to be very strong. So let's check what is the position for L&T. Debt is nothing but your core non-current liabilities. So here you can see that the non-current liabilities 5 years ago was roughly 9,000 crores versus its equity, owners' funds, is nothing but the total shareholders' funds was 37,000 crores. So it's a fantastic position. And if you have seen that the debt has continuously gone decreasing from 9,000 crores to just barely 3,000 crores at March 19, but its equity has grown up to 52,000 crores. That's a solid position of the company, no doubts on that. We talked about two parameters of P&L, we talked about two parameters of balance sheet, and let's talk at least about one parameter from the cash flow statement. I'll quickly tell you what's a cash flow. It talks about how much cash is coming in the company, is going out of the company. It need not be hard cash. It could be cash, or we call it as a cash equivalent, which can be easily converted into cash. So here in cash flow statement, you can see typically three activities. The most important activity from your analysis point of view is operating activity. So operating activity talks about the cash flow which is generated from the core operations of the company. So if you check out in March 17, it was at 5,979 crores. But here if you go see, it is a little bit on a decreasing trend year on year. So this is not a very good sign though. I'm not sure why March 19 figures cash flow is coming out to zero. Maybe their data is not updated, but definitely 4 years continuously decreasing cash flows is not a very bright sign. So I might say one negative out of the 5 parameters we have checked till now. Now that we have understood the entire 2015 to 2019 analysis, the 5-year analysis, now we are going to move on to a very important update, financial year 2020 quarter 2 results. Guys, please understand this, that whenever we do fundamental analysis of any company, the fundamentals don't change on a daily basis. We have to understand that when the balance sheets are released, when any sets of numbers are released by the company, that is when the investors need to analyze these numbers and then they need to make an opinion about whether I should stay invested or whether I should stay away from this company. The question is, when does the company come up with all these financial figures? They come up with financial figures typically 5 times during the year. Number 1 is the whole year results, which is the 31st March year-ending results. Second thing, now once we talk about the full year results, then we come across 4 quarterly results. So that's how I said total in total 5 times they declare the results. Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4 results are the 4 other results which are published by the company. Now the question is it mandatory for all these listed companies to come up with these quarterly results? Answer is very much yes. SEBI, which is Securities Exchange Board of India, they have made a mandate compulsory for all the listed companies that they have to declare the quarterly results of listed companies within 45 days from the end of every quarter. So just as an example, right now, which quarter got ended? Quarter number 2 was ended, which was 30th September quarter. Okay. So if quarter has ended on 30th September, every listed company has to come up with Q2 results within 45 days. That is within precisely it would be 14th of November. Okay, 2020. L&T recently yesterday, that is on 23rd of October, came up with its second quarter results, and I'm just going to give you a quick highlight of what they talked about in their Q2 result. Overall, a pretty good result is what they have declared for the second quarter. So here are the financial highlights for you. I'm going to talk about the important highlights only. So the very first one is revenue. Revenue has grown at 15%. That's the top line has grown at 15%. If you talk about PAT, that is the bottom line, that has grown by 24%. That's a good one because see, this is a sign of improving margins. Revenue is increased by 15, but the profits have increased by 24%. Well, there's a definite reason for that, and it is the government of India's decision to cut the corporate rate tax. I'm sure everyone knows that the effective tax rate is somewhere around 25% now. I guess they have told it's something like 22.5%, but with cess and surcharge and all that, it comes to roughly around 25%, which was originally 30%. And this 5% almost tax saving is very well reflected in profit after tax margins being improved. This third and the mind-blowing area for L&T is the order book of 3.03 trillion rupees. What is 3.03 trillion? Any idea? It is 3.03 lakh crore rupees. 3.03 lakh crore rupees. That is 3.03 trillion. Is their order book. Now, what is this order book? What is that? It's a very important concept. Order book means they have orders worth 3.03 trillion on hand. What does it mean? Even if they don't get any single new order for upcoming years, they still have 3.03 trillion rupees of assured revenue. Isn't that a good sign for the company? It is. So please understand, it's a very important point for fundamental analysis. For all such companies which are into infrastructure, into construction, this is a key parameter. How much is their order book? A higher order book is always a positive sign for the company. But if you're talking about a big revenue growth, if you're talking about an order book, we must understand revenue comprises of what? So what does L&T do? So for that, I'll quickly take you to the revenue composition of L&T. They are mainly into various segments like infrastructure. I'm sure everyone knows what is infrastructure. It could be building, factories, transportation, civil infra, water treatments, power plants, everything. Then they are also into power. They're into heavy engineering products, including even nuclear power plants. They're into defense engineering. They're into hydrocarbons. If you remember, I had done a video on Reliance Industries, wherein I had talked about what Reliance does as their business. So in that video, I had explained that they are into crude oil exploration, they are into crude oil refining and all that. But please understand, if they were to explore or extract, and if they were to refine such crude oil products, then they have to have a very good infrastructure for that. They need to install an entire project there. Now, which is the company which installs heavy machinery and heavy projects so that this entire activity can be carried out? And that is L&T. In fact, the world's largest refinery, which is at Jamnagar, which is owned by Reliance Industries, that entire refinery has been set up by L&T. So this is the hydrocarbon segment of L&T for you. They are also into IT, they are into financial services, they are into development projects including metros, they are into electrical and automation and others. Please understand, any company is not required to give segment-wise reporting for each and every segment. There are certain guidelines for that, there are certain accounting standards for that. I'm not going to go into accounting standard details. There's a separate accounting standard 17 for that, but I'm not here to teach CA students. So let's understand that there are some typical segments which have to be reported by them based on certain percentage criteria. So there are total which segments which have been reported. I'll quickly tell you. Number 1 is infrastructure that they've reported. Number 2 is power segment. Number 3 is heavy engineering. Number 4 is defense engineering. Number 5 is hydrocarbons. Number 6 is development projects, IT technology and others. 8 segments. And I feel that's how L&T is different as compared to others. It is like so well diversified that even if one of the segment doesn't perform well, there are so many other segments which can actually back it up for a better performance. If we talk about the revenue growth, so I'm just going to go quickly now. I'm going to focus on the left hand side of the screen because this is a quick comparison between quarter 2 FY19 versus quarter 2 FY20. So for those who are having a look at the quarterly results for the very first time, I'm just telling you in simple words what is that. This quarter 2 is nothing but July 2019 to September 2019. So July, August, September. 3 months data, 2019 as compared to 2020 financial year. So financial year 18-19 and financial year 19-20. Okay. And because it's the financial year 19-20, we call it as FY20. Okay. So what has happened? Let's quickly have a look at it. Infrastructure, net revenue has gone up by 9%. And the EBITDA margins is basically it's as good as a profit margin, but it does not include, so basically depreciation and all that components are still there in this concept. EBITDA is a big term. I'll not explain that right now. But if you have just checked out my video series on fundamental analysis, I've explained what is EBITDA very much in detail. Okay, so EBITDA is kind of profit I'm saying. So that is grown by 7%. If I move on to the second one, post infrastructure, the second important one is power segment. Why important? I'll tell you, wait. Here, some investors can get shocked. Oh my God, there's a drop of 54% in net revenue. But then should we really get frightened because there's a 54% drop in revenue? So we should check how important is power segment in the whole array of services or products which are given by L&T. So if you check here the revenue composition, out of the total revenue, power is only 2%. So even if it's a 54% drop, that's barely accounting for 2% of the total revenue of L&T. So is that anything to worry? I don't think so. So moving on, power segment, post that engineering service, it's a 33% up, and EBITDA margins by 24% up. Net revenue 9% up, and EBITDA margins 17.9%. Hydrocarbon segment, net revenue up by 21%. That's again a big one. There is a significant order inflow obtained from domestic and international markets. That's what they say. And EBITDA margin also at 12.5%. Development projects 12% up net revenue, and EBITDA at 10.2%. A very unique thing which you can see in a quarterly result here is IT and technology services. Here you can see that the net revenue is up by 64%. Such a huge percentage increase. And why is it so? Because if you see here, there is a 19.1% as a gray line here. And what is this 19.1%? So basically they have consolidated Mindtree results. Mindtree, I hope you have heard about this name, and now it is their acquisition has been completed, and they have actually consolidated Mindtree as its subsidiary. For those who know about this acquisition, it was a very interesting acquisition. Just let me know if I were to do a separate video on Mindtree. I know you will be very much ready to troll me, but first listen to me, guys. I know I've promised quite a few videos in the recent past, but you might have seen that I have not posted any video on Wednesday, the previous Wednesday, for a simple reason. Actually, I was not well. I was completely on bed rest for back-to-back 10 days. I had a very severe body rash. And for those of my friends or those who know me, they were actually cursing me as to, even if you're so ill, why are you publishing YouTube videos? Actually, all those were the pre-recorded videos. So that's why you might have seen that in the last 1 or 2 weeks, I have not recorded even a single video. I have not released a single video which was about contemporary issues, but they were on general education videos. So sometimes life just screws up all your planning, and that was the reason why I was not able to make any video. I know I have promised a lot of videos, but yes, I will be back on track. Don't worry. I'll be, as usual, I'll be giving you, hopefully I'll be giving you all the mind-blowing content that you want, and I hope I'll be meeting your expectations, right? So moving on to the next one, IT related, just let me know on Mindtree if I want to make a video on that, right? So one last point which I want to tell you about this Q2 result is that the revenue segment, which you can see here, that's how it is broken up. Infrastructure 47%, which is the topmost gainer. 30% is services. Hydrocarbon is 12%, and baki others 2%, 3% here and there. If you see here, the domestic revenue generation is almost 67%, and balance is about US, rest of the world. The ROW is rest of the world. Middle East is 14%. They also got a very big order from Saudi Aramco, and if you remember, I had mentioned about this company in, again, my video, fundamental analysis video on Reliance Industries. This 67% revenue growth from domestic has actually shrunk. The company's CFO, when he was doing a press conference, he told that yes, the domestic orders have definitely gone down, and that is a sign of a little bit of sluggishness, slow in our economy. But he said that thankfully that slowdown was compensated by the orders which they received internationally. So I hope you have got a fair enough idea about Q2 results FY20 for L&T. So we are moving on to our next segment, which is about small cases. And I'm sure you might be wondering, ye small case kya hai? This is a product which is, I found was very interesting, super interesting. And that's why I thought of making a separate segment about small cases. First, I'd like to tell you exactly what is this theme, and then we'll move on to L&T. And does L&T form a part of any of the small cases or not is what is going to be my next discussion. So there are many people essentially who are not so very sure about which stock to invest in. They are not sure about how to study a specific stock. But their common sense or their logic is really strong. Like they can understand that, okay, government is coming with this X policy, and I believe that this X policy is going to work wonders. So they are very well read. They are very well aware about the current affairs in the country. So I'll give you a very simple example. For anyone who is a believer of the current government and anyone who believes that what the government has promised, they might deliver, may not be 100%, but to the best possible extent, and they might at least turn true to majority of their promises, then which sectors could get benefited is the question. So for that, I'll give you a very simple example. Modi ji's one of the flagship projects which he firmly believes is in the concept of smart cities. Okay. Now, if they were really to go ahead with this implementation of smart city project, then the question arises as to which would be the different sets of companies which could really benefit from this smart city project. Okay, so let's be let's have some very basic sense as to what is a smart city. So they're going to have a better infrastructure, they're going to have better sanitation facilities, they're going to have better housing, they're going to have a better lifestyle of the people living in top 100 cities of India. Basically, they're going to make these top 100 cities in India. Now, if they were to make good infrastructure for smart cities, then the question arises is which company would benefit from this project of smart cities? And that's what we are covering today. It is L&T. But then the question arises, is it only L&T which is going to benefit from this concept of smart cities, or is there any other company which can get benefited out of that? And this exact concept has been brought ahead with the help of a concept known as small cases. So small cases is nothing but a theme-based investment. Okay, so it could be, the theme could be a government initiative, the theme could be low-risk stocks, a theme could be high-dividend stocks, theme could be stocks in infrastructure. Okay, so it's a theme-based investment. Now, if I say, again coming back to my discussion, if I say smart city is a theme, then you would have to essentially list down which companies would be benefited in the smart city theme. Then you'll have to analyze these companies. Then you'll have to decide that you'll have to check the quarterly results for each and every company. Of course, that study part is correct. But then even while placing the order, assume that you list down 12 companies. Then while placing the order, you'll have to place 12 different order for these 12 companies. Right? Every time you'll first select a stock, put the quantity, place order, next one. It's going to be a very, very tiresome process. To cut out all these things, Small Cases came up with this concept that choose a theme and invest with one click. Okay, and I found this very interesting. So I thought of making this as a separate section in my video itself. So here I am on Zerodha's portal. Why Zerodha? Because Small Case has a tie-up with Zerodha. In fact, Small Case has a tie-up with almost 7 different brokers in the country, including big names like HDFC, Edelweiss, and other names as well. So what I've done is, this is Zerodha's portal and this is L&T. I'm just clicking on more, and that's what we were doing, a fundamental analysis. Now, the moment I click here on fundamental analysis, here I can see the overview of L&T. I can see some events for L&T. I can see some news for L&T, and very important, here I can see small cases into bracket 4. Now, let us understand what is a small case. As I mentioned, small case is an intelligent basket that helps you to take a diversified exposure and reduce the risk. Okay, so you're diversifying into various companies. I may say it's something like a mutual fund, okay, it's not a mutual fund at all, but it's like a mutual fund wherein you're not investing in one stock, but you're investing in a basket of stocks all at one shot. Okay, so see here you can see that this stock which we are discussing today, L&T, fits into 4 small cases. Which are these 4 small cases? Let us understand. So the very first theme is smart cities. So the government of India's flagship project, smart cities, which company can get benefited? One of them is L&T. Do you want to check which are the other companies? So it's very simple. I'm just clicking on smart cities now. So now this dashboard opens up wherein you can see why should you invest in this small case. And first of all, they've explained about the small case. So every single small case, they'll have a simple introductory part about what is this small case about. So small case is nothing but this investment idea is about transforming 100 cities and wherein they are moving on to urbanization. This project has an outlay of 98,000 crore rupees, which is a dream project of Government of India. And as I mentioned, they want to improve the standard of living, excellent public transport, efficient energy, water supply, and whatnot. Okay. Now, if you check what is the past performance of this small cap versus Nifty, here you can see that small case is in blue, Nifty is in I'm bad at colors, but maybe it's orangish brown maybe. But the small case has shown a better performance as compared to Nifty. So that's a graphical representation for you. But then the question comes up is, kya hai isme? Which stocks are there in smart cities? Is it only L&T? No. So for here, you can just click on stocks and weights. So now you see a list of companies which might get benefited with the theme of smart cities. And in that, see here under construction and engineering, you have L&T. Okay, so that's how I was talking about L&T being a part of this small case. Which other companies can get benefited? So very logically, so they are talking about better housing. If you are having better housing, cement companies are going to get benefited. Paints are going to get benefited. To have a good lifestyle, you need power, you need equipments. There are some power companies. gas distribution will be there, construction engineering, and building projects. So that's how they have a lot of companies here. They have also given a weightage as to how much percentage is every company coming up to. So now towards the right, you can see here, buy now at no lifetime fees. So what they do is, the first small case they give you free of cost, okay? And if you were to invest in any other small case, guys, it's unbelievable. They are just giving it at 100 rupees fee, or 2.5% of the fee, brokerage basically. So it's like a brokerage, you can say 2.5%, but whichever is lower. So if you're investing, I guess, anywhere above 5,000 rupees, then it's going to be just 100 rupees of your fee. 100 rupees per watt. 100 rupees per watt. It's a lifetime fee. So you just pay 100 rupees once, and you need not pay anything else till you sell it off, okay? And what they do is, every quarter they'll give you an update about what has happened with these stocks, and they will also tell you whether you have to reshuffle the portfolio or not. So I feel this is not an investment based on a tip directly. They're explaining the logic behind that. I feel this is more of education thing rather than giving a blank tip, and that is why I thought I should make a video on this, because I believe in learning, being educated, and then taking an informed decision. So like if I say here, buy small cases, now I'll tell you the biggest advantage here. So let's say the minimum investment here would be 18,000 something, but then what happens is this review order. It says so many stocks are going to get bought, how many shares are going to get bought, and of course I have not activated this right now. If I say confirm amount, then oh my god, you can see my funds available are only 52 rupees. This is just a demo account, okay? But if I have money here, it will say confirm amount, it will get confirmed, and the moment I say buy small cases, in one shot the entire product will be bought. So I feel it is ease of buying at a very small fee of 100 rupees. I feel that's a very good product, is what I really believe in. If I talk about other other small cases in which L&T appears, is 3 other small cases, which is low risk smart beta. Now what is this low risk smart beta? They are saying it is a low risk stock. So low risk basket of stocks again, which are large cap stocks, and they are good for passive long term investing. Again, if you believe that, kaun se stocks hai, which are low risk stocks? So for that, again, I've just clicked here, you go to stocks and weights, and you see all these companies. If you believe that, okay, wow, like see, you have all big names here. You have PowerGrid, you have L&T, you have ITC, you have Wipro, Infosys, HDFC. Wow, this is definitely, I feel, can be low risk stocks, and which can be good for a long-term investment. Then you have one more basket in which L&T fits into picture. It's a dividend smart beta stock, wherein companies are increasing the dividends on a consistent basis. And the last but not the least, infra tracker. So guys, I hope you have understood what is the concept of small cases. You can check out the link in my description box if you want to invest. So if you have a Zerodha account, it's very easy to invest directly. And as I mentioned, small cases with 7 other brokers totally. I feel this is a very nice way to invest in a theme, to invest in a concept rather than investing only in a specific stock. So finally, it's very important to understand that when we are talking about fundamental analysis of any company, what should be the price at which I should enter and what should be a target price? I have covered such valuation models in my lecture series on fundamental analysis. If you have still not checked it, just visit my website www.rachanaranade.in and have a look at my series. In that very series, which was recorded somewhere around August 2019, I had discussed about this EV by EBITDA valuation model. It's not feasible for me to do this entire EV by EBITDA valuation model in our YouTube videos. It takes a lot of time to explain this entire model. But I'll just quickly tell you, this is how it works. If you can see my screen, we first try to calculate the EV enterprise value, which is, again, it's available on Money Control. Then we calculate the EV by EBITDA, which is X. Then we take an average growth for 3 years. We calculate the expected EBITDA. If you have not understood anything, it's okay. That's how the EV by EBITDA valuation model works. Very important point towards the end is we can calculate a target price and we can calculate an entry price based on this model. I had calculated this target price of 1,530 in August month, and I will just quickly tell you. So this is how the L&T's chart looks like. So in August, when I was calculating this, the low price which we had seen was 1,286, and in my lecture series I had told that if you are getting it at 1,150, you can enter it. The target price should be around 1,530. But then, of course, I told that maybe 100 rupees here and there. if you wish, if you want to risk out, you can try it out. But if you don't, maybe the ideal price could be 1150. So for those who waited, never got an opportunity till date, because 1286 was the lowest price it has seen in the past few months. And my target price, which I have calculated here using a proper formula, you can, if it's visible on the screen, then you can see nothing is manipulated. It's just formula based. 1530 was the target price. And here, if you can see, the highest price which it has seen is 1528.50. That was on September 23rd. So for those who believe that it's only and only technical analysis, guys, just check this out. It was pretty much accurate, just 1.5 rupee away from the target price which I had calculated. No one can calculate the exact target price. It has to be with a deviation, but that's how powerful fundamental analysis can be. I'm not at all saying that technical analysis is not good. Even I am a believer of technical analysis. But being a chartered accountant, of course, I have to be a little bit more biased towards fundamental analysis. So I just wanted to tell you how powerful fundamental analysis can be, right? So, but I always say that before making any investment decision, do have your own study as well, so that you don't curse me on any wrong happenings, right? So I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and keep commenting, and if you feel that my video is worth it, keep sharing it with your friends as well. So that's it from my side. Happy Diwali to you all. And I'll be vlogging a little bit during Diwali. I'm going on a vacation with my family. So if you want, you can definitely watch my vlogs as well. They'll be coming up next week, right? So that's it from my side. Jai Hind, bye-bye. Have a happy and a safe Diwali.